Hello everyone, welcome back to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will start a new topic called syllogisms. We will discuss all the types of questions that you can get in your competitive exams from this topic. Now, before we start syllogisms, you should know a concept called Venn diagram. Okay, what is Venn diagram? This we have already studied in school. But let us revise. Venn diagram is basically it is a chart that is used to represent data. It is a chart that is used to represent data. What do you mean by that? Let's say this rectangle. This rectangle represents a school. Okay? This rectangle represents a school. Now there will be various people working in a school. Okay, so the major portion of a school, let's say, will be comprising of students. Okay, apart from students, we will also have teachers in the school, correct? We will also have teachers. Then we will also have some staff that works in the accounts department, some cleaning staff, other types of staff, correct? And then we will have some more people, some technical people that are involved in the school, correct? The directors, the board of directors, the trustees of the school, all these people. Or you can call them important people. Not technical, but maybe important people. So a school is comprised of many components. Okay, and this can be represented like this. This can be represented in a Venn diagram. Similarly, let us say in a school, let us look at the students. Let's say this rectangle represents a student structure. So this is the complete number of students that are there. In this school, there will be some students that will be studying physics, correct? There will be some students that will be studying chemistry, and there will be some students that will study both. So this area where there is a overlapping between physics and chemistry, this area basically signifies that these people are studying physics and chemistry both, correct? This signifies that there are some people that are studying physics and chemistry both. Okay, so let us understand this in a better way. Okay, let's say we have this circle and this represents females. This represents the entire gender. This represents females. Out of this female, we will have a certain section that will be mothers, correct? We will have a certain section that will be mothers. Now let us take a job. Let us say that this circle represents all those people that work in a hospital. Okay, this circle represents all the people who work in a hospital. Now if you look at the overlapping, if I look at this part, okay, let me name the circles. Females is circle 1, mothers is circle 2, and hospital is circle 3. So this part represents the overlapping of 1 and 3, correct? This represents overlapping of 1 and 3. This basically means females that are working in hospital, correct? This means females that are working in hospital. Okay? This is females that are working in hospitals. Now let us look at this one. This one. This particular one is a overlapping of first and 3 and 2. This is a overlapping of 1 and 3 and 2. This basically means females that are mothers and are working in hospital. So this is how you use a Venn diagram to denote different relationships. Basically, based on Venn diagram, you can have certain relationships that you can represent. It is used to represent data. Okay, now there are 4 possibilities in a Venn diagram. There are 4 possibilities in a Venn diagram. What are the possibilities? First possibility says that all A are B. Okay, all A are B. So basically, if you have A, all A will be part of B. All A will be part of B. This is the significant portion. All A are B, that means all A will be part of B. Okay, this is your first condition. Second condition can be some A are B. If this is the condition that some A are B, that means we will have two people, A and B, and this is the data that we are signifying. There are some A that are B. Okay? There are some A that are B. This portion is some A that are B. These two are true statements, or you can say these are positive statements. Okay? These are positive statements. Then we have two negative statements. If I say some A are not B, okay, if I say some A are not B, that means if I have this, I will have the same diagram, A and B. But when I say some A are not B, the focus is on the word not. That means we are highlighting this data. There are some portion of A that are not B. This particular portion of A is not B. Therefore, this is the data that is being highlighted. So the highlight has changed. Now we are focusing on other data. Correct? Over here, some A are B, we will focusing on the overlapping. But when we talk about some A are not B, we focus on the part that is not overlapping. Okay? And fourth is that none A are B. None A are B means there is no overlapping between A and B. They are separate entities. They are separate entities and they will not overlap. These two are called negative statements. Okay, these are called negative statements. So syllogisms, basically we deal with only these concepts. No other concept is being used. Only these concepts are being used. This will become clearer to you with the help of some examples and some questions. Okay. Now, before that, let us study what are the types of questions that you can get in your competitive exams from this particular topic. So, from syllogisms, we have three types of problems. Type 1 is statement-based syllogisms. So, what do you mean by that? For example, it is given to us that all colors are pretty. Okay? Some colors are dull. Let's say it is given to us like this. So based on these statement, I will have certain conclusions. Okay, so let me draw. All colors are pretty can be drawn like this, correct? And some colors are dull can be written like this. So based on this Venn diagram, I can deduce that there is overlapping between dull and pretty also. So I can conclude, my conclusion can be that some dull are pretty, correct? Some dull are pretty. This will be my conclusion based on the Venn diagram. So this is a statement-based syllogisms. We have certain statements, we have certain conclusions, and we have to tell which conclusions are true or not. So this is your statement-based syllogisms. One thing that you have to remember is whenever we deal with syllogisms, we take the textbook to be true. We take whatever is given in the question to be the universal truth. Okay, whatever is given in the question is the universal truth. It can be in variance from logic. So logic we do not follow. We don't have to look at what is logically correct. Logically correct, dull and pretty are opposite words. How can some dull be pretty? They are opposite words. They cannot be together. But we are not focusing on logic. Okay, whatever is given in the question, this is our universal truth. So we don't have to look at the logic, we just have to look at the question. Okay, then we have interpretation of data using syllogisms. For example, interpretation of data means, let's say there are in total, this is given to us. Okay, we are told that these are men, this represents men, and this represents police. Okay, it is given to us that we have total of 50 men. Okay, out of that 50 men, and we have 5 men that work in police, and in total we have 45 police. Okay, let us just say this is the data. So, based on this data, I can interpret that 50 men are not police. Okay, 50 men are not police. Based on this data, I can interpret 5 men are police. There are 5 men who are police. And based on this data, I can say there are 45 police that are not men. 45 police are not men. So this is how I'm interpreting data using syllogisms. So this is a different concept. We are using the same concept of Venn diagram, but the question type has changed. Okay. Then we have representation of relationships. So what do you mean by representation of relationships? Representation of relationships mean that certain words are given to us and we have to identify based on which diagram can we depict their relationship. For example, we are given guava, let's say, okay, fruits. These are the 4 words that are given to us. Guava, fruits, and apple, and let us say it is given to us potato. Okay, these are the 4 words given to us and we have to represent it in a form of Venn diagram. So I know fruits is a bigger term, correct? Fruits is a bigger term, so this will be my fruits. Now under these fruits, one type of fruit is guava and the other type of fruit is apple, correct? And potato is altogether a different entity. Potato is a vegetable, so it cannot come in fruits. So based on this diagram, I can represent the relationship between guava, fruits, apple and potato. Correct? So this is another type of question that you can get in your competitive exams. You can get certain words and you have to show them what will be the relationship in terms of Venn diagram. So let us solve some questions from each of these types to get a better conceptual clarity. So let us start with type 1, that is statement based syllogisms. Okay. Now, question 1 says, read the given statement and conclusions carefully, assuming that the information given in the statements is true. So we have to assume that it is true. We have to consider this to be the universal truth. Okay, we have to consider the statements given in the question to be universal truth, even if it appears to be at variance with commonly known facts. So that means we don't have to follow the logic. Okay, and we have to decide which of the given conclusions logically follows from the statements. Okay, now statement 1 says no blue is white. So blue and white will not overlap, correct? No blue is white, that means they will not overlap, they are separate entities. So I'm drawing a little cross to depict that they are not overlapping. Okay, and it is given to us no black is blue. So now we have a separate entity called black, and blue and black will not overlap. So I'm using a different pen to highlight that blue and black will not overlap. So red one depicts that blue and white cannot overlap, and the blue one depicts that blue and black cannot overlap. Now if you look at white and black, they don't have the same colored cross. That means they can overlap. It is a possibility. Okay, now let us look at the conclusions. The first conclusion says all white are blacks. So again, this is not true because all white are black can be a possibility, but it is not 100% true. Therefore, this is false. This is not a true conclusion. Second one says no blue is black. So again, I can see blue and black have same colored cross. So this one is true. No blue is black. Third one says some whites are not blues. So some white are not blues. This is correct because they are not overlapping. Correct? They are not overlapping. So this is also true. So basically statement number 2 and 3 are true. Let us look at the options. Option number 3, I can say that only conclusion 2 and 3 follow because conclusion 1 was untrue. So my answer will be option number 3, that only conclusion 2 and 3 follows. Correct? Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 says, read the given statements and conclusions carefully. We have to assume that the information given in the statement is true. That means it is a universal truth or a universal fact. Correct? Universal fact or a universal truth, even if it appears to be variance with the commonly known facts. That means we do not have to pay heed to the logic. Decide which of the following conclusions logically follows from the statements. Okay, so let us look at the statements. Statement says all T are Q. So it can be represented like this. all T are part of Q, correct? No M is T. That means M and T are separate entities. So M and T will not overlap. M and T will not overlap. So this portion and this portion will not overlap. Okay, based on this Venn diagram, we have to answer the questions. These are the conclusions we have to answer, which conclusion will follow and which will not. Okay, conclusion 1 says no T is M. So this we definitely know that no T is M because they are not overlapping. So this conclusion follows. This is a true statement. Now, one more thing, whenever we solve questions on statement based syllogisms, we look at definitely true statements. We look at definitely true conclusions. We do not look at possibilities. If there is a possibility, it should be mentioned in the conclusion. It should be mentioned like some Q are not M is a possibility. Then we can tick it. Then it is correct. Okay, but it should be mentioned it is a possibility. If it is not mentioned it is a possibility, we only take the ones that are definitely true or definitely false, depending on the question. Okay, now second one is some Q are not M. So over here, I can see this portion of Q is definitely not M because this portion of Q is T, correct? This portion of Q is T and T is definitely not M. So this one is also true. This one is also true. So if I look at the options, option 4 says that both conclusion 1 and 2 follows. So this will be the correct answer. Both conclusion and 1 and 2 will follow. Okay. So now let us look at question number 3. Question number 3 says that statements are given, conclusions are given. Again, we have to consider this to be the universal truth or the fact, and then we have to tell which conclusion will follow or not. First conclusion is some X are M. So some X are M can be represented like this, correct? Some X are M. So focus is on this part, the overlapping part. All W are X. So all W are part of X, correct? So it can represent it like this. Okay. Now, let us look at conclusion 1. The conclusion 1 says some M are not W. So in this statement, in this particular Venn diagram, it is true. But let us draw another Venn diagram. It says some X are M. So if let's say this is the X, some X are M can be represented like this because there is complete set of X and only some of the X are M. So this, it can be represented like this also. And all W are X. So relationship between W and M is not given. So W can be represented like this also because all W are X. Now let us look at the conclusion. Conclusion says some M are not W. But in the second possibility, this was the first possibility, this was the second possibility. In second possibility, all M are W, correct? So this one is false because this is a possibility. This could be or could not be true. So we take only definite true situations, right? We take only definite true conclusions. So this is a possibility. It can or cannot be true. Therefore, this will not be the answer. Okay. Option number 2 or conclusion number 2 says no W is M. So over here, I can see W and M are overlapping in possibility 2. In the first possibility, W and M are not overlapping. So again, this is a possibility. So we do not consider possibilities until unless it is stated. So if it was written no W is M is a possibility, then it would have been correct. But over here, possibility word is missing. Therefore, this is false because we only take conclusions that are definitely true. Third one says some M are not X. So over here, definitely we see some overlapping. Okay, some M are not X, but over here, all M can be X. So again, it is a possibility. So it should be false. We take only situations that are 100% true. So this is false. So my answer, if I look at the options, I can see option number 1 says none of the conclusions follow. This will be my answer. Okay. Now, type 2, interpretation of data using syllogisms. So based on this information, okay, based on this data, we are given a question and we have to answer the question. Okay. Now, so I have already discussed the concept, right? Let us look at the question. The question says the given Venn diagram represents employees in an organization. So this represents employees. Triangle represents executives. So triangles means executives. Circle represents females. So this is females. Rectangle represents MBA. So this is MBAs. Square represent technical staff. So square is the tech staff. Okay, technical staff. The numbers are the number of people the data represents, correct? Now, we have to identify how many female executives are there in the organization. So female executive, that means circle plus triangle, because females are represented by circles and executives are represented by triangles. So we have to find the portion that is a overlapping of circle and triangle. Over here I can see this part is the overlapping of circle and triangle, and this part is 5. So basically there are 5 females who are executives. So if I look at the options, my answer will be option number 1, 5. There are 5 such females who are executive, correct? Now, question 2, again diagram based question. In the given Venn diagram, circle represents ladies. So circle means ladies. Okay. Triangle represents teachers. So this is teachers. Rectangle represents unmarried person. So rectangle is unmarried people. Okay. Now, the number given in the diagram represents the number of persons in that particular category. The question asks how many married ladies are teacher. So married ladies means we don't have to look at the rectangle. Rectangle should not be there because rectangle represents unmarried people. So rectangle should not be there. Okay. Teachers means that we should have triangle and we should have circle because circle represents ladies. So basically we have to look at circles and triangles but not rectangle. So I can see this area has circle, this area has triangle, but this area does not have a rectangle. So this is 3, that means there are 3 such married ladies that are teachers. So if I look at the options, I can see option number 4 is 3. This will be my answer. There are 3 married ladies who are teachers. Okay. Question number 3, same concept. The given Venn diagram represents artist in a circle. Triangle represents clown. So this is clown. Okay. Circle represents acrobats. So this is acrobats. Rectangle represents males. So male. And square represents ringmaster. So square is ringmaster. Ringmaster. Okay. The numbers given in the diagram represents the number of persons in that particular category. Now, the question is how many male clowns are there? Male means it should have a rectangle. Correct? Plus clowns. Clowns means triangle. So rectangle plus triangle. That are also ringmaster. So ringmaster is square. Correct? So rectangle plus triangle plus square, but not acrobats. That means circle should not be there. So we have to find an area that has rectangle, triangle, square, but not circle. So if I look over here, this area has a triangle, this area has a rectangle, this area has a square, but this area does not have a circle. So this is 17. So 17 such males are there who are clowns and also ringmasters, but not acrobats. So if I look at the options, option 17, option number 1 is 17. So this will be my answer. Okay. Now, type 3 is representation of relationships. So this we have already discussed. Based on the Venn diagram, we have to tell what is the relationship. Okay. Question number 1 says, identify the Venn diagram that best represents the relationship between the given classes. So 3 words are given to us: Venus, planet and sun. So what is Venus? Venus is basically, Venus is a type of planet, correct? Venus is a type of planet. That means if this is my Venus, this will be my planet. Because there are various types of planet, Venus is just a part, correct? Venus is a type of planet. Then what is a sun? A sun is a star. So, and a sun is not a planet, but a sun is a star. That means it is a completely different entity. It will not overlap with planet. Correct? So, a sun is a different entity. It is not a part of planet. Now, if I look at the options, option number 2 is the correct representation of Venus, planet, and sun. So, this will be my answer, option number 2. Clear? Question number 2. Question number 2, identify the diagram that can best represent the relationship among the given classes, rat, shoes, and bat. Now, I cannot find a common thing. Rat is an animal, shoes is an object, that is a clothing, and bat is a object that is used for sports. Bat is a object that is used for sports. Rat is different and shoes is different. So, I cannot see any overlapping between rat, shoes, and bat. So therefore, my answer will be option number 2 because I cannot see any overlapping between them. So this is how I will represent the relationship between rat, shoes, and bat. Okay? Question number 3. Painter, lawyer, singer. So these are all professions, correct? These are all professions. Now, if I look at these 3 words, painter, lawyer, and singer. Okay. Can there be some people who are both painter and singer? Yes, there can be some people who know how to paint and who knows how to sing. Similarly, there can be some people who knows how to paint and knows how to be a lawyer also. There can be some people who are lawyer and also singer, and there can be some extraordinary people who can paint, sing, and do law also. So this will be the perfect representation of the relationship because these 3 can overlap with each other. There can be people who can do both. There can be people who can do 3 also. And there can be people who can do only 1. So this area will represent people who are just a painter and nobody else. Similarly, this area will represent people who are just singer and nothing else. Similarly, this area will represent people who are just lawyer. But this area will represent people who are into painting also and who are lawyers also. So this will be the correct diagram for lawyer, singer, and painter. So this is given in option number 1. So option number 1 will be the correct answer to this question because it completely signifies the relationship between painter, lawyer, and singer. Okay. So this concludes today's lecture. I hope the concepts and everything was clear to you. From the next lecture onward, we will discuss some more questions to get a better conceptual clarity. So thank you so much for watching.